everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. Dee Dee here. I'm so excited to have you. Thank you for being here. I have been on this fermentation journey for the past year, learning so much, so many educational videos that I've watched, and I've learned from the best. The one thing that I've always wanted to do was make this whole process very simple for myself, because I was intimidated for a long time, and that's why it took me a while to get into it. But you know, the health benefits are just through the roof when it comes to fermented foods. And I'm gonna show you how to make some sauerkraut today. I make this every 2 weeks, really. Right now I'm starting to make 2 vats of it because my husband and I both eat it. So very good for you, so great for your gut. As we know, probiotics, prebiotics are. The thing is, there was a big trend about taking so many probiotics pills and all of that. What we need to do is diversify, because if you're taking a specific probiotic and you are feeding, let's say, 30 different kinds of bacteria and they're strengthening, what about the other thousands, right? So we need to have different, kimchi, and then let's get into sauerkraut, and let's drink some kefir yogurt you make at home. That's packed with probiotics as well, prebiotics. Homemade sourdough bread, which I make, homemade sodas, juices. You can ferment just about anything. I've done so many vegetables and fruits and herbs. Oh, so many wonderful things. But still learning, though, I'll tell you. I still feel like a baby. But not only is it wonderful for your gut, but it's just so good for your liver. Your liver is the one that gets rid of the toxins in your body. Your liver makes cholesterol. Your liver burns fat. It regulates your metabolism. If none of that is working for you, that means you need to go to the source and really clean that liver out. For example, if you're fasting and your cholesterol is really high, I've heard this from a lot of people, that's just because, it's not because of the fasting process, it's because your liver is congested, your bile ducts, your gallbladder, all of that. So what better way to do it than with wonderful sauerkraut? If you have any kind of history with medicine, you've taken a lot of medicine in your life, alcoholism, really bad diet, environmental toxins, things like that, elevated enzymes, you actually should drink some sauerkraut juice. Believe it or not, it's really, really packed with all those nutrients. It's excellent. So I started to drink that as well, just for maintenance. You drink a little cup of it a day for maintenance. If you have a lot of problems with your liver, then up that, do a couple of cups a day. So I'm going to show you now this beautiful cabbage. I'm doing purple cabbage. Now that has, to me, it's my favorite, just because it has sulforaphane. And what that basically does is it really, really nurtures your liver and any liver problems. That is also in broccoli. But I'd rather have sauerkraut juice than broccoli juice, but you could eat broccoli too, or put it in your smoothies. But yeah, so that one little ingredient in there really does a lot for your liver. So I love the purples. As you know, those bright purple fruits and vegetables, those are some of the best in antioxidants and all that. So here is how I start. So you want a head of cabbage, and right here what I have is purple. Now I do a mix. I like the green too. I love both. When you do, before you start chopping up your cabbage, what you want to do is you just want to cut it in half, as you can see. Cut it in half, turn it over like this, and then just slice it very thin like this. You can also do it in chunks, okay? So if you like it chunky, you can just cut it up in chunks. It doesn't matter, it's all what you like. We like it sliced thin. You can actually use a mandolin if you want. I like to chop up my cabbage by hand. I just It's just easy for me to do. Make sure that when you take the cabbage, you take the outer layers of the cabbage and save them, because we are going to use these at the very end when we're done, when we put it in the jar to ferment, okay? And I'll show you why. So I like to do my sauerkraut with a mix of different vegetables. In my mandolin, I do golden beets, I do some daikon radish, some cucumbers, onions, ginger, garlic. You can do whatever you want, honestly. These ingredients here, though, you want to put into the jar where your cabbage is going first. Because when we are done and we bottle this up to start fermenting, you don't want any little pieces like this. This is a tiny little piece of ginger. You don't want this floating on the top. You have to be very careful when it comes to that, because if you have any little floaties and it's in the fermentation process, it could definitely create some mold, and then you're going to possibly have to toss everything. We don't want that. So how I often start is I put any kind of herbs that you want at the very bottom of the jar. I'm going to put the link down below for all the gadgets that I use, okay? This is a wonderful, wonderful fermentation sauerkraut device here. So what I do is, we love hot sauce, so we actually bought this by Local Culture. You can look them up. I can put a link below. It's fermented hot sauce, huh? So I just put a whole bunch in here. We like a lot. I mean, we like it super spicy. Oh, there's the end of that. You can put anything you want though. Chili reds. I like a little bit of that, and a little bit of cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is so good for you, and if you don't know, you have to look up all the benefits. I mean, I could make a whole video just on cayenne pepper, how wonderful it is for your health. So now, after I've done that, then I go ahead and I take all the small little pieces of vegetables here, and I will lay them all down at the bottom. And then, once you cut your cabbage, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna put it in a pot like this. A nice big pot. This is my Dutch oven. I use this for everything, just about. And 2 hours before you start fermenting this beauty, you're gonna wanna put them in here. So for every pound of cabbage, you're gonna use a half of a tablespoon of salt. What kind of salt? You can use, no table salt, please. You gotta use healthy salts, okay? So Celtic or Baja Gold, Redmond salt I know is really good. Baja Gold's my favorite. It has a very high concentration of minerals and the least sodium. I love it. It's our favorite. That's the only one that we love to eat. So what you're gonna wanna do is put that half of a tablespoon per pound. Just weigh your cabbage. If you have a kitchen scale, just weigh it. And then you're gonna just toss it up every half hour for 2 hours, and you're gonna wanna squeeze this when you're tossing it. You can use gloves if you don't use your hands. I like to use my hands. I like to feel my food in my hands. So what that's gonna do is the salt is going to release all of the juices from the cabbage, and man, you could just eat it like this. It is just like, it's so delicious like this. It really is. If you like sauerkraut, you'll love it. But the whole purpose of this is to ferment. Now, sometimes your cabbage will not produce a lot of liquid. That's okay, because you can just add it. You can add it to it, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So you just fill this whole thing up, and you're gonna wanna push it in as you're filling it, right? But now, what's cool about the whole thing is that instead of filling it with water, once you've done this a few times, you are just gonna take some of the juice from your sauerkraut that you have just finished fermenting and put all that juice into your new bottle. So that's it. And then what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to turn this and put all the juice in there. This one did not create a lot of juice. And like I said, it's okay. You're going to just want to fill it up with water. And just to make sure that the water covers the actual cabbage, okay? You have to make sure that's covered. So now this is the one that I had fermenting already here. Take off the top. Oops. And now, what I recommend is buying a pH probe tester. This will test the pH of your sauerkraut once it's fermented. I mean, the fermentation world is very sensitive too. You have to be very careful because if it messes up, something happens, some kind of, mold is created for some reason. I mean, you never know what could happen. You want to make sure that it's edible, and you want it to be, I like it to be at a nice 4.0 on the pH scale. This is 3.98. How perfect is that? Okay, so I'm going to put the link down below for this, because you just test the liquid and then you know if it's good or not. This is absolutely perfect. So once I uncovered this and I took my little weights off, which I'm going to show you, these are the little weights that you are going to put on the very top, so then it stays on the water. All right, so what I'm going to do with this right now is I'm going to strain it, because this liquid is what's going to go in here. Okay, so you just take a little strainer, and this juice is wonderful. I mean, you either drink this or you can use some of it to ferment the next batch. I use a little bit, not too much, because you got to remember that this has the salts from the original fermentation that you use to soften up the cabbage, okay? So you don't want it to be too salty. So I just put a little bit of this, and then I will just add some water just to make sure that it's completely full. But when you do add it to the jar, you're going to want to push all of this down, just like that. Just like that, like really pack it tight, okay? With your knuckles there, yeah. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take these leaves I told you about, and you're just going to want to lay it on the very top there. Now make sure, one of the most important things is to be completely clean. Everything has to be clean. When you buy this jar, make sure that you wash it in nice filtered hot water with soap. Some people actually boil their equipment, which is fine. I wash it with water and soap, and that's good with my clean water. And then see how that sits right at the very top like that? That covers all the little pieces, so then they won't float to the top. Now this is extra water that I'm going to add to cover those leaves, and that looks pretty perfect. And then you're going to take the little weights. These little weights are just amazing. They really hold this down. So I put one in every corner. And that will hold it down. Now, here's the thing. What you want to do is within 3 days and no longer, well, you want to check on this every day for the first 3 days, and then open it up and just look, just to make sure there's no little floaties that you need to pick out, because that isn't, and just to make sure that even the leaves are underwater, that they haven't, because sometimes the fermentation bubbles, they're alive, as we know. I mean, they're incredible. What they'll do is they'll push stuff up as they start bubbling up. It's like they just wake up and they start going crazy. It's really fun to watch, actually. See right here, there's one little piece. I'm very, very, very careful, very specific. I don't want to waste a whole batch of something good that I made. So now what we're gonna wanna do is put the cover on, you put your airlock on, and you fill your airlock with water to here. Here's the little top to it. You fill the water to there halfway so that they're balanced. What happens when it's completely fermented, it'll go over to one side, the water, and this will be completely empty. Then you'll close it up. Make sure you close it up. And these little holes at the very top are what allow some oxygen to come in, but not a lot, and the carbon dioxide to come out of the product. That's one of the waste products. So then you want to put a cute little label. This comes with it. It's adorable. I love it. It just kind of, you want to write down the date and what you're making. And that's it, you guys. Then so then you check it every day for 3 days. And then, like I said, you can have it fermented for a week. You're going to see the bubbles. It's really, really cool. You'll see it depending on the temperature of your house and all of that. You will start to see it after 3 days, all the little bubbles forming. But because I use some of the fermented sauerkraut juice, I might see it tomorrow. That's what happens because you're already starting the fermentation process by adding fermented juice to it. And that's pretty much it. This is so great. I mean, I just love sharing this with you. It's such a great food, so easy to make. You just leave it there and you know, you can just watch it every single day and how it grows and how the bubbles. So now this is, like I said, this is the finished product. I take the leaves out that held down the product, and I have this container I put in the fridge, and then I just basically take all of this and fill this up with the juice, and we'll eat a little bowl of it and drink some of the juice every single day. It is absolutely amazing, delicious. If you could only smell it right now, look at that. It's just, oh, it's amazing. It doesn't need a lot. So if you're using ginger or garlic, I usually just put a little piece because let's not forget the fermentation process will make everything taste even stronger. So you just need a little bit of garlic, a little bit of ginger, and slice it really little. Or you can put a big chunk, but just don't forget about it because I made that mistake and then my husband bit into a big piece of ginger and he said, please, can you just slice it thinner? This is all ginger. It's all you'll be able to taste. So I would put very little bit of that. But it is packed with goodness. You can put jalapenos, different peppers, whatever you want. Just experiment. People put carrots. You can ferment the carrots. I mean, celery, anything. Whatever your favorite thing is. And I hope this has been helpful. It was so fun sharing this with you. And I will be doing the next video on something fermented, like I said, very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you again for being here. Take care.